Sarwar binti Muhammad Sofi, Nama Matric S5976. Introductions. An employee performance management system is the means to ensure that every employee works in a manner that is aligned with organization's goal and which ensure that the employee reaches its maximum potential on the job. Employee performance management system must take into account include procurement of workers with the right attitude and ability who can perform well, training that ensure employees have the skill and knowledge they need to do a good job, and a reward system that encourage workers to continue to perform well. Managing the performance of individual employees is the job managers and supervisor. So every manager is responsible to manage the performance of his subordinates. Summary for case study. Performance appraisal is the one of the key management tools which identify employees' strengths and weaknesses. This case study, according to performance appraisal by Performance Joe in the company at Syarikat Zumaju Senior Berhad. He and the managing director Arifin, with whom he will be holding his annual performance. Arifin decided this review because it was very difficult telling people about their weakness. So Joe does not care about the performance, presence of his employees and customer satisfaction. Meanwhile, as the employer, Arifin can adjust an entire year of work from an individual at one time, so that the annual review is awkward and uncomfortable for both employer and employees. Besides, the relationship between employer and employee are not like they used to be. Employees work with many leaders and peers during the years. One person cannot adequately rate an individual worker without lots of peer input. Employers also must be trained to conduct appraisal discussions.
Case study number 1. What mistake is Arifin making in his performance appraisal of Joe? Arifin's error as a performance appraisal manager is the manner he communicates with Joe. Joe's performance was harshly condemned by Arifin. Arifin should communicate nicely and appropriately while discussing Joe's job's performance. Furthermore, Arifin should not discuss employees' personal life when discussing their personal professional performance. Arifin too was unafraid to speak openly about Joe's personal life. This is because she mentioned her son's difficulty in this interview evaluation. This is incorrect since it combines their personal and professional life. Arifin also did something else. He dismissed Joe from the company without giving him a warning. Arifin should give Joe warning first and explain why he received the warning, and Arifin should also monitor Joe's performance in the coming month to see if it improved. Manager make a range of blunders when it comes to performance review, making it tough to pinpoint all of the issues. The overall performance appraisal method has a number of flaws. Another issue that was discovered as a result of the one-on-one meeting held to perform evaluative interaction. Grade A manager's ability to control systemic issue is unusual. Manager will benefit from this performance appraisal system which was designed specifically for them. Typically, a leadership team and human resource personnel build this system.
Here are four major problems experienced by managers and employees with performance appraisal. If the individual is clear about the problem, they definitely have a chance to solve the problem. First, performance appraisal are annual. An annual performance evaluation is the first step in the performance appraisal process. This is because employees require more precise goal setting and feedback each year. Performance evaluation, managers might participate in the yearly, but they also have permanent power to offer ongoing annual performance appraisal feedback in addition. Employees also require performance feedback on weekly, if not daily. For the long term, employees need the best possible feedback to clarify goals from their managers. Second, performance appraisal as a lecture. Managers who don't know any better turn quarterly performance reviews into a one-side lecture about what the employee did well and where they need to improve. Employees in a small manufacturing firm, for example, must remind HR that the performance development planning meeting was supposed to be a cheerful chat. Furthermore, if a manager reminds an employee of a job difficulty or performance failure, the employee is less likely to listen to any other constructive comments the employee make about their performance. Third, performance appraisal and employee development. In most performance assessments, the abilities growth of an employee and talent is not emphasized. They make no commitment from the organization in terms of time or resource to help employees develop their skills in areas where they are initiated. The idea of such a performance review is to provide an employee ongoing feedback so that they can continue improve their skill and contribute to the organization. It's the manager's chance to tell the employee exactly what the firm expects from them and what the company most wants and needs from them. Was a quiet opportunity if a manager employs the meeting for something other than its original purpose. Fourth, performance appraisals and pay. Employers sometimes associate performance review with the amount of pay rise an employee will receive, which is a fourth way the performance appraisal may go wrong. When an assessment becomes a determined element increased choice, it loses its potential to assist employees in learning and growing. Employees will be taught to hide and cover up issues. They will put their management in a position where he will be blindsided by problems or issues in the future. If they are typical employee, they will only bring positive to the assessment meeting. The purpose of helping the employee grow and development as a consequence of the feedback and discussion at the performance evaluation meeting is negated when the appraisal is linked to the individual potential for a wage raise.
Assalamualaikum. I will continue with the second question. The second question is, how can an appraiser manage emotional outburst from a subordinate during an appraisal interview? First, I will tell you what an appraiser interview. Appraisal interview is a formal discussion process between an employee and his or her manager regarding performance and other aspects of a job role. Appraisal interview is the best way for an employee to increase productivity and change work habit. The manager and the employee can discuss the performance of the individual and the key areas of improvement. All matters will be discussed relate to problems in the job such as attendance and negligence. The manager will be honest with the employee so that the employee can correct the mistake they once made. But such situation can cause employees to become discouraged, emotional, frown and be rude to manager. So, how do manager manage employee emotion? First, manager should be empathetic with those who are hurt. As manager, they need to be sympathetic and understand the feeling of employees when conducting assessment related to job performance in the workplace. Employees who are rudely assessed will feel humiliated, ignored, and lose patience during the assessment season. This is said so because the use of harsh words can erode the feeling and hurt of employees, especially when managers take advantage of employee personal matters. For example, in the case of Syarikat Zumaju Sendian Berhad, the managing director of Arifin has a touch on the issue of Mr. Joe Ederson, who is facing problem at his school. This issue can cause the employee to feel angry for involving his families in the matter of his employment. The second is manager must give them space and time. Sometimes, providing space and time for employees to deal with things that happen at their own pace is the most effective way to manage emotional employees. Managers can also do things that can facilitate and ease the burden of employees, such as giving leave to employees who are stressed with their workload. With the leave given can remove the sense of burden in the mind of employees that cause them to be emotional when conducting assessment with the manager. It also helps them move through situation in a constructive way, especially when they are expressing extreme emotion or distress. For example, Manager Director Arifin knows that Mr. Joe has a personal problem regarding his elder son. So, the Manager Director Arifin need to give time and space to Mr. Joe to solve his son's problem. The last one is find out about employee problem. As a manager, need to know the problem of employees in order to help in solving problems and reduce the stress experienced by employees. This can help the manager to find out what triggers the employee's anger and can help them to control emotion during the appraisal interview. For example, Manager Director Arifin need to know the real problems that happened to Mr. Joe before making any wrong assessment. Therefore, knowing the problems of employees can help manager in controlling emotional employees.
Employees and managers are constantly wondering why organizations need to conduct employee performance appraisals. This is because this employee performance appraisal will usually discuss poor performance and cause dissatisfaction among employees, while managers need to hold these evaluation sessions every year. If there are many employees who have problems that need to be assessed, a lot of their time has been wasted. So, let's identify what are the advantages and disadvantages of this employee performance appraisal. Okay, I will talk about the benefits first. This performance interview can motivate employees and managers. Why? This is because when employees show good performance, the manager will reward the employees to motivate them and others employees to perform the work efficiently and effectively. For example, I am a bad worker. So when I see my other friends get rewarded, I will be motivated to do a better job and I'll be like, okay, I will do my best and work harder to be rewarded like my friends. The next benefit is feedback. This feedback helps the employee to correct the employee shortcomings. If the employee follows the manager's advice, they can further elevate the image of the organization where they work. So, what are the disadvantages of performance appraisal? The downside is it's a waste of time. This performance appraisal will take a long time to complete. Not only that, the organization must have many employees to evaluate. So, their time has been wasted just by doing this performance appraisal. And the last one is stress at work. I said this because during the evaluation process, the manager had to say honestly to their employees about all the shortcomings made by the employee. There may be workers who cannot accept the reprimand by the manager and cause them to feel depressed and do not like the work they do. So, that's all from me about the advantages and disadvantages of performance appraisal.
In conclusions, performance appraisal may be understood as the assessments of an individual's performance in a systematic way. The performance being ensured against such factors as job, knowledge, quality and quantity of output, initiative, leadership, ability, supervision, adjustment, cooperation, and responsibility. Performance appraisal can be conducted more effectively by using the right tools and properly reviewing and updating the performance appraisal program. That's all for me. Thank you.